Don't get us
Well,
in
hello
trouble.
there. We're back with another Merged Roundtable. I'm here today with Jim Durman and Dina Abdul. We're going to talk about social media, just like everybody else, and of course, a little bit of AI and crypto. But we'll dig into what those topics are a little bit deeper right after this. Stay. I mean, that's kind of how weird it is in crypto and AI. Now, all the crypto and AI influencers are talking about a magnet. Like, that's the biggest story in those verticals right now, which is a weird thing that I don't. It has something to do with quantum computing and room temperature.
Probably because they're not
rooms.
bloggers. They just don't know how to come up with stories, so they
Yeah.
just flip on their old RSS feeds. They fire up their old MacBook from 2002
Yeah.
and see which ones are still operative.
Right.
You were saying something about it being 2008. We may or may not have not had your audio for the first 6 seconds. So a lot of social media stories.
Yeah, a lot of social media stories. That's where we're headed with this discussion. It's like almost all social media stories. But like, to briefly recap the last 7 days, Twitter changed its name to something else.
What?
X.
I'm sorry. How did I miss that?
It feels like,
Because it wasn't that exciting.
yeah. Yeah, they stopped traffic in San Francisco, which to take the sign down off the side of Twitter and change it with a letter X.
No,
It's just called X,
Just
it's now called X.
so it's like a mark.
Yeah. X.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
The good news
I'm
is
on
that San
X.
Francisco.
I'm tweeting. So what do you say? Like I'm Xing?
Yeah.
There's no more
Oh my
tweeting.
God.
What do you say?
Yeah. Yeah, we've been
I'm
hearing a couple of
Xing.
those.
So this-
right up for the beginning, she gets it. Yeah.
This morning, India
amazing.
India put out they blocked Twitter. Or sorry,
wow.
X. They blocked X because they wanted them to explain this new domain name and how it had nothing to do with pornography.
Hey,
Oh,
Facebook got to call
wow.
itself Meta. Why can't Twitter call itself X?
X is just, I don't know. I feel like we
So
could have been a little bit more creative
The
than
deep,
X.
the deep story behind that was back when Musk was at PayPal. He just one a day, he wanted to go, let's just call it X. And they didn't like that.
And he spent $1 million on the domain name, so he's kind of married to his decision.
Yeah, they didn't like it. So
This is very
20-something years
interesting.
later, he's like, you know what? Peter Thiel isn't around. I can do what I want.
After naming his kid that too.
Yeah. Wait,
Wait,
he named
what?
one of his kids X?
Exhibit
You
or
know,
something.
with
No,
the
no,
Grimes,
no.
X, Ash,
yeah.
whatever.
Right. Yeah. X
Right.
was one of the letters for sure.
But it
yeah.
was because of the X. That's-
So why would India have so much concern with the name change?
Well, there's been a gradual degrading of rights in India for under Modi and right before him. So
yeah, the prime minister of India is like Trump, but way more effective, super regressive, super. Yeah.
I think it might be like a combination of like maybe some language barrier issues, and also just this is a great excuse to censor social media, because Twitter does have a porn problem.
Well, thank goodness in this country, we don't have that problem.
No, absolutely not.
You're joking, right?
I don't want my bank shut off because I said the wrong thing.
Yeah. Well, you trust me, you don't.
I was because I was asking you about censorship. Are there
Yeah.
any censorship ads? Not ads, but censorship apps, things that block out, all the stuff on Instagram or
There's a new app that
TikTok.
allows you to take that X logo that's on Twitter and replace it with the bird. It's called Restore Bird.
Jim. Restore a bird.
Restore bird.
What
yeah.
does that do?
And so instead of when you pull up twitter.com, instead of seeing the X label, you see the bird come back.
I mean, they still haven't
Oh, the
gotten rid of it
little
on
blue
the,
bird. You're talking about the little.
Yeah, it brings the
thing.
bird back on your browser.
which they haven't got rid of on the
My
app.
guess is
well,
that it's
people
probably
are
about 1,000
attached.
hours of coding written by AI, because that's the best use for AI is restoring
Do you
the
think
bird.
it's because people are just more familiar with the bird and it's just some
mean,
sort of
it's-
comfort?
it's like
I mean,
15
X
years,
is
yeah.
kind of scary. It is. It's like do not enter.
Or
It
10.
is. There's You're right.
could be
Yeah,
10.
it just it depends. Wait, what does it look like? Can I see it?
The X logo, yeah,
It's up on the screen,
Yeah.
right at the top.
but not on our screen.
I'm on the screen.
Up here, up there you go. This screen over here.
Yeah.
See,
At least it's a cool looking X, kind of.
so there are 2 other companies that apparently own the trademark to that X.
Oh yeah.
One of them is Facebook, sorry, Meta, and one of them is Microsoft.
Notice we're not talking about Threads this week, though.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I feel very overwhelmed with the amount of social media things that are coming alive. It's every day. It's like
yeah,
a new.
and there'll be more. They'll just
I feel like
generate more.
I jumped on Threads so late. I was like, what,
Are you using it at all?
60,000 user.
No, it's
I'm
pretty
trying
early.
to use it. It's
Dumb.
Threads fell off. L
already.
plus ratio.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
is there an L plus ratio we could say for Threads? What's a ratio on Threads?
I mean, I haven't
That's a ratio.
I haven't seen anything with more than 1,000 likes on Threads. So like, and then there's
I got 2.
and certainly hundreds of replies. That would be like the top. It just nobody uses it. Everyone
would
just
they?
squatting their name.
It's okay. I'm having a really hard time with TikTok. Like, I have to actually hire my kids to manage my TikTok. It's very difficult. I feel like I'm maneuvering in a very new space, even though it's been around for a while. But when it comes to Threads, I'm just like, I don't know if I think I hit my limit of learning. Is there a limit of learning?
Are you learning on TikTok? Because there's
No,
definitely
like
a limit.
my brain just stops
I
consuming.
think it's actually going in reverse when you use TikTok. They actually have something called TikTok Brain.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I just dropped
I don't know when you're joking or
No,
not.
no, I'm dead serious. TikTok Brain. And basically you can't keep your attention.
You
because
can't.
everything's
It's
bounces
supposed to
around.
be, yeah. It's supposed to be made for like fast pace. They don't want you on there more than 10 seconds, right? So something like that. Is it 10
Bounce you
seconds?
around. Well, unless
Yeah.
in China, then
'Cause
it's
you just-
30-minute
'cause,
lectures
like, my
on
kids
physics,
will literally just
good
scroll,
ethics,
scroll,
health,
scroll.
teeth health, working hard, having a big family. Here, whatever works. That's the craziest thing. Like they're actually the big thing now is to tell girls to get lazy girl jobs. That's the big push on
You
TikTok,
know what? I was listening to music today from the 90s. It's like 90s R&B.
right?
And
Like which
I was
one?
paying
Sing a bar or
attention.
two.
What was I listening to you? I don't want any fancy rings or cars. And nowadays it's like, if you don't have whatever, I don't want to talk to you.
I feel like you were listening to the wrong one though, because I remember the big song being "I don't want no scrub," because he pays my and then will you pay my
That
bills?
was late 90s.
Pay my
That was-
automobiles.
wasn't that in the 2000s?
Pay my telephone bills.
That was in the new decade.
I thought
No.
that was one of the greatest lyrics
No,
ever.
that was when I was getting my driver's license, so that would
Pay
have
my
been definitely
automobiles.
like
But
mid to late 90s.
You got to understand, females, women. I speak for myself. We don't want someone who's lazy either. I'm not.
Don't want no broke man is what you're saying.
Right.
God, this is like, it's amazing I know all this. I keep forgetting I
Why
lived in
do you
Tampa
know
for 3 or
these
4 years. This is some old club
But
stuff.
it-
Like there's a beat going on in my head right
to
now.
be fair, but you literally just saying, I don't want no scrubs, like word for word.
Yeah.
So, to be fair, though, I mean, do you want uneducated women who are lazy?
No,
Would
my
you date
grandfather
someone?
gave me some wonderful advice about
tell
that.
me.
Now, he was a different generation, so get prepared with the little button that you always play when I do this. Technical difficulties.
It has the X on
He goes,
it.
look, Jim, it's fun to play pet with the chippies in the back of your car, but only have sex with intelligent women so that my grandchildren aren't dumb.
So my grandchildren aren't dumb.
What was the
Yeah,
advice you
That
received?
is some World War
there-
II.
You can be intelligent enough to get a lazy girl job. I'm all for it.
Don't work past 5. Yeah.
I mean, okay, there's also you
Who
work
doesn't want
smart. You work smart and not too much. I mean, people are becoming a lot more aware of the shift in the economy
Yeah,
and how to
huge.
own a business, because everything is on what? Social media.
Right.
Social media will tell you what to wear, how to eat, how to sit, how to do your hair, how to put your makeup on. Everything you could ever imagine is literally on social media. So they're grooming the younger generation to be a specific way, right? Makes us
I feel like
look
they're
like
grooming
we're
each other a little
bit.
bit.
They're what?
They're grooming each other a little bit.
It's
And also,
disturbing.
don't use social media to fix your HVAC. It's fine to fix your washer dryer, but the HVAC information is
Not
terrible.
the
Oh, you want
HVAC.
to? Yeah,
No, that's
so,
YouTube.
So this
Go
is
to
actually a strange. There is like a a cartel, a cabal of HVAC people and internet content. Like there is like an unspoken agreement amongst HVAC people. I learned this when I was working with Steve's stuff. They don't put out good information on HVAC stuff because if you understood how technically possible it was for you to service your own stuff, you wouldn't have to pay.
Do you not remember Troy Barnes and the line from Community?
So they're misleading you on purpose. Is that what you're saying?
It's not that they're misleading. It's just that whenever you go to like they've successfully squatted all the SEO for HVAC, so that whenever you go to like the how-to videos, it's always like, oh well, if it's got a Phillips head thing on it, then you're definitely gonna need to call your HVAC guy. Like you're not gonna be able to figure that out with your toolbox. You know, it's just like everything's too hard for you.
I feel like they did that with politics too. Like they never tell you how to fix things.
No, I don't know. I think it's the opposite. Like they told you that anybody can fix anything in politics, so everyone thinks they're an expert with bad ideas.
That's definitely true in recruiting.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get you to pivot away.
Yeah, well, so what is this thing that you wrote in the Trends in HR piece? I remember it had a very clever subhead.
Well, Matt changed it and did something different. Now he says 5 trends that prove the apocalypse is coming, which is different than I wrote.
It was something about SaaS. Knock you on your
it's
SaaS.
Funny.
Or
so
something.
this is a 4,000 word piece, and the funniest part is they broke it into 2 parts. And when you look at it on the website, HR.com magazine, it says 18-minute read. And I haven't seen something like that in so long. I know nobody's going to sit and read. Certainly, no one with TikTok brain is going to read 18 minutes.
Or, I mean, Instagram is
the short version is that software's reached a point of negative returns, and that human incompetence is a real problem. Because we've had humans specialize, especially in business. Everything you do is I just do one thing. You don't know how it impacts everything in the company. So you're just taught to do one thing because if you know how to do a bunch of things, you're more valuable. You have this institutional knowledge.
Right.
It's all easier to break it into its component parts, eventually automate it. But then you have people in recruiting and sales and process and customer success and finance who don't know how anything else works. And that's a real problem because what happens when those people hit their mid-20s or 30s and they've never learned? They didn't spend any of that time learning. They're just doing...
This is what the educational system is.
Well, it's just designed to do. You know, it's like basically everybody's part of a warehouse.
An assembly line.
An assembly line from it. It's been a long... Skinner's the one who did that on purpose. This is a problem for us because I have a buddy of mine. He's 25. He works on cars. He can help you assemble a cabinet. He can work on plumbing. He's all this. Anything you need to do, he's there to help. Throw a party, nurse a baby, fix a cow's leg, whatever it is.
Not the baby.
And what's funny is we used to just call this dudes in the 70s. Like everybody knew how to do something. And even us growing up, we're a little bit younger than that, but basic competence. I can cook a meal, I can clean a house. I know how to schedule a party. I know how to send something through the mail. We know folks who don't know how to use a post office.
Right.
No way.
Which like, oh, well, there's no need for that. But the problem is in that there's so many basics in life they don't know. Basic life skills. It's so bad that Goldman Sachs and McKinsey are now putting together courses for new graduates on how to do basic things, basic life things.
I'm so confused. So what do parents do?
Well, they watch Netflix and they get divorced and they, I don't know. They tell the kids that they're, do you want the vanilla or the chocolate milk, Timmy? I mean, they go to Starbucks, so they're teaching to be good little consumers.
I mean, I can do all of that, but I also encourage them how to wash clothes and do the dishes and cook meals because guess what?
Can you take care of yourself if I have to do something?
Right, that's my issue is like, hey, if I'm not here, are you going to starve yourself?
You can't just call Uber Eats? Why drive?
Absolutely not going to happen.
Why drive when you can order a Lyft?
My son asked me that one time. And I said, do you have Uber Eats money?
Right.
I don't think I have Uber
You
Eats
better
money.
go in the kitchen and figure out how to make a sandwich. Uber Eats to the kitchen.
I had a friend in college.
Uber
he was
walk.
22. He was the oldest son of 6 in a very Catholic family. We'd go home. I was shocked at dinner because his mother would like make food and all the boys would sit and eat. And she'd sit in the kitchen. I was like, wow, this is different. The next day, he's trying to make a sandwich. He doesn't know how to operate a can opener and he doesn't know how to make toast. I'm like, you're going to die in the real world. He was 22. He was a senior in college at that point.
Oh, that's too much.
To a good school. But he didn't know how to open a can.
Well, I mean, I got to say, it's like, I don't know. I mean, some of the stuff is pretty intuitive. A part of it is like...
Can openers can be tricky, though.
Yeah, there's
especially
that
the new ones.
Is that remember the main character from Twitter that was trying to teach his like his 4-year-old was hungry, so he like made him struggle with the can opener for 3 hours or something. It was the whole thing.
And I missed a lot of X.
Yeah,
X.
it's gonna be
Why, we're
hard
supposed to call it now? Twixter.
Twix.
Twix. Now we get sued for that. Well, you don't. He does.
I mean, I still haven't stopped calling it Facebook, so I don't know.
I'm not going to call it
Wait,
Meta.
you were calling Twitter Facebook?
No, Meta.
Oh,
'cause it's
Meta.
yeah.
I was like, I'm confused.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's still the responsibility of parents to teach children basic life skills.
Thank God for Gen X.
I mean,
Should we explain what Gen X is to the audience? Because they've
I
never
still
heard the
don't
word
know
before.
what
It
Gen
doesn't matter.
X
They'll
is.
forget it by the time you're done.
I
so.
have. So, what am I?
You're
Wait,
just-
no, that's
You're a
gonna
millennial.
give my
You're
age.
an elder millennial.
Yeah.
Stop calling me elder.
No, it's just a...
Don't call me elder anything. Elderberry.
You're go wonderful in a tincture.
There you go.
What?
A tincture. You
Okay,
put a little
I'm learning a lot
alcohol, a little
today.
opium.
Okay, elderberry is good.
You ever had a tincture?
No.
It's the stuff they had in the Civil War where they take morphine and opium and alcohol dissolves those old roots. Like people like St. John's Wort or something. Here's my old recipe. But then they
Did
used
anyone-
the alcohol to break it up, and then they dump the opium and the morphine in to make you feel better.
Did it hurt anybody?
I'm sure it
Overdose?
created some. Well, it was in very small bottles. Snake oil salesman would sell it.
Okay. Snake oil salesman.
Yeah,
I'm
that's the
learning.
whole
I've
idea of the
learned, I
snake oil
swear to God,
salesman
about
running around.
5 very important topics today.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not know a snake
Well, I would not
oil.
go with tinctures. I would not order them online, by the way.
They're sold.
They're like
still?
80. They're like 40% alcohol.
Essential oils and whatnot. Yeah. All right. Well,
Wow.
the
Informative.
so anything else from this piece that you wanted to? It's aside from the link.
Well, it's so long. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the funniest part of it. Is I was shocked to see anybody read it. They had to sit down, get a pot of coffee, plan their day out around it.
So
Yeah.
part of this, I mean, some of these are just topics that we've talked about here. Software is reaching negative returns.
Right.
That's not just a software and SaaS thing. That's something that we've noted. That's like social media.
How do you stay on top of stuff?
A lot of tech.
Do you want to stay on top of stuff,
Right.
or do they get rid of it?
Well, but I mean, aside from your ability, like as usefulness as a tool, like social media is not a profitable industry, kind of like airlines or something. Like it's this, you can't make money with it. That's what we're finding,
That ties into the next topic.
which is the death of competence in humans.
No. The Twitter
That's all
jobs thing.
Okay, yeah.
Because I haven't told you about this one yet.
Okay.
Okay, so Twitter launched a jobs program. So if you have a verified organization, you can now have a job that comes out. And everybody I'm in talent acquisition, so everybody made fun of it because no one's done this well. There's no way if Facebook couldn't do it, they couldn't. And we have all these people, billions of dollars spent. This is a joke of it. I don't think people realize what Musk actually did. So if you go to Facebook, does it cost you anything to be a Facebook member?
Not that I know of.
And how do you verify things?
You pay them some money and they do it.
Facebook pays to verify you, which is really no different than checking an ID at a bar. It's not that difficult, except for here's all my information, right? Musk has verified, paid $8 for that check mark, right? So Facebook is a product that you are the product. Twitter is now saying we're going to verify you over time. So it's not just buying that, because the whole point is they're not doing verification, but we know verification's a matter of over time. If I just check your ID at the door, you could have faked it, right? But
Right.
if you're there for 8 years and I know you, it's a lot harder to fake that over time.
Right.
And that's the point of it. So if you think about it, Musk actually got people to pay for social media as opposed to Facebook and Instagram and Threads and all the others,
Sure.
Right.
But
with the idea of turning it into the super app.
this is not a good thing, in my opinion.
I think it's still, yeah.
And
I don't.
It's
Why-
the bot network? That's the point of it. It's designed to build out who is a person over time.
Who cares?
But I tried to get verified several. Apparently, they can't verify me. I'm not a
on Twitter
verified.
or
Instagram.
on Instagram.
The blue check.
So that third party of a third party of a third party paid to do it. Tech isn't good enough, and it's.
I'm still not a real person.
And if you were, though, do you know how easy it would be to bribe somebody on that third party of a third party of a third party to do 1,000 of them, and now I have 1,000 verified profiles? I could be Mark tomorrow.
But that's what I'm saying.
Probably
It's kind of
Dina tomorrow
disturbing.
instead of
They couldn't verify me, but I can now pay $15
Because it's hard
and now
and
they
it's
can verify me.
expensive. It's expensive to do.
I mean, this goes back to like the discussion about identity that we were having at Veritoken. Like, why do we care so much if people are who they say they are, as long as the reputation is tied to an identity? Pseudonymity is more valuable
No,
than
Because
a
advertising,
lack of anonymity.
the money we spend on advertising, the money we spend on leads.
Right.
We assume that all three of us are real, but in a couple of years, you could have just
you're not
recorded us.
hearing me.
And
Yeah, but this goes back
You're walking
to-
away from what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it doesn't matter if you get 15 philosophers in a room and you ask them what is identity. You're going to get 15 different answers. Why are we trying to create one definition of what identity is for the entire world using monolithic social media when we can't even get philosophers, the basis of what we define identity as, to agree?
because we pay for what humans do. We pay for clicks on website. We pay for purchases. We pay for people to tell us that they're experts. And what this does is it puts it
gives
verifies
one
people
definition
over
that
time.
doesn't work for more than 20% of the population.
But they're
It works
not
for
doing.
commerce.
But technically,
It doesn't
they're
work
not.
for commerce. If it worked for commerce, they'd be profitable.
But technically, they're not really verifying because you can now just pay to get a blue check. So they're not.
Well, that's the first
they're
step.
not being identified.
So what that does is that stops someone from having 5,000. You can spin a bot up and run 5,000 profiles that are very hard to do. And now you have a bot network that likes, and all of a sudden you're at the top of the algorithms because you have fake robot traffic.
Okay.
There's some concerns that every network's already taken over by this. So
Right.
everything we see is controlled by bots and algorithms, not real people. There's a big concern about advertising fraud that's out there. So what is valuable if I'm paying money to put ads in front of someone or to find out if there's someone I want to hire or if there's someone I'm going to call to sell to? I want to know they're a real person doing the job they said they were going to do.
So do you know how much it costs to get 5,000 unique identities, corresponding credit cards, and social security numbers?
Maybe $20?
If that.
Yeah. But see, that's the point. If you verify someone over time, that gets harder and harder and harder to do.
You know how much it costs to get a 10-year-old Twitter account?
Now, that's a little different.
About $5.
But if you're doing that, that's the whole point, though. That was the point of the Bev score and all the rest of them. Is
God, this is turning into like the similar as credit.
well, yeah, there's the whole social credit score. That's one of the
Yeah.
scary things because once they do that, they can dump your bank account, choke point, and all these other issues. But you verify people over time the same way you'd verify a human being. You just met me. He seems okay, but let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. He's slashing tires, and I didn't know that.
So it's better to
he
be
was nice in the
verified.
studio, but a terrible person.
So
Over
it
6
is.
years.
It's you're suggesting to be verified.
Well, verified is it's not one point in time. It's a building trust, whether it's your
Right.
boss or your friends or
Which
your
you
wife
want
or
with your
kids.
audience.
You want to build it out over time so they
Right.
know who you are.
Right.
That is the I think what Musk is going for.
So, Jim, you think this was the plan when he implemented the blue checks? It wasn't just a cash grab?
The idea that it's a cash grab doesn't make any sense to me. So is the verified organizations $1,000? Who can afford $12,000 to only the largest companies? But if they start bundling things together, like you can post jobs, here's access to real people, here's some leads that are in place, here's a music service, here's some dry cleaning discounts, the same thing Amazon Prime did, the same thing that Apple Music did. If they begin
Yeah.
bundling service, all of a sudden $1,000 is really cheap. And without that, because this cash trap will never be enough. They can't do the math.
Right,
So
of
either
course.
it's the dumbest people around or they have a deeper plan, and that plan is what Musk has been saying for 20 years for himself. But
So that's been like when people criticize the checks for that, I agree with you, but also what has that done to, I know you're saying over time, but that has done nothing to reduce bot activity or bot incentivizing,
they've claimed it is. I don't have access
not-
to the deep service.
So, but
have you used it? Like, I don't, it's
Yeah, my thread, the Twitter people I have, it's very. I'm just seeing the people I already know because it's a big. I don't want to talk to random people I don't know. I connect with the ones I do.
But so does that limit growing your audience?
I'm very old and have a very large network of people I already know.
Okay. I mean, me
So
too. Well,
yeah.
I'm not elderly, but
elder.
I'm not an elderberry. But I mean, my audience, I love the fact that I can speak to my audience and they feel connected with me. And I don't have that many followers. I have 4,200. And they're all organic. They're
How
all
else
real
do you need
people.
though? Those are people that are real. Yeah.
to me, those can, of course, transition into sales for whatever I'm doing, or I can.
If you had 100,000 fake followers and then that led you to have 2 million, do you think that you'd still put out the same content? Or do you think you'd start taking baths in milk and Fruit Loops to impress those fake million followers? Because that's the whole thing with the NPC we talked about.
That's a little specific.
Wait, what?
There's somebody who did that.
I didn't follow what he said, so
Influencers do weirder,
That
things.
That was the weird thing that one of the people that interviewed Obama did to get famous. Or
Okay.
She bathed
It just
in that.
sounded like one of Jim's fantasies, to be honest.
First of all, it'd be Lucky Charms.
Not lucky.
It wouldn't be Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
I don't like
That's
blue milk.
homophobic.
I'm 100%
No, it's that blue milk from Star Wars.
Raisin Bran.
Raisin Bran.
With the elderberry.
Quickly getting off the rails. So to me, my problem here is that it's a bad standard for identity, because here's what's going to happen, right? What you say is true. They're going to create this bank of addressable people using this workable standard for identity, unique identity, which is only going to create an incentive for the people that make these bot networks to go out and start spending money on stolen identities, stolen credit cards, and aged Twitter accounts. And so your data is it's just gonna be a game of whack-a-mole. But now we have this standard for identity in corporate America that's based on bad first principles. Second order effect is that this is going to be, it's just going to ratchet up the botnet game. But in so doing, we're going to create a bad standard for identity. If we had gone with a decentralized or a federated or some sort of pseudonymous standard for identity, and still fought that war, at least at the base of it, we got something that doesn't harm the majority of the population. Like
that would require a successful ICO and some brilliant people far ahead of their time.
Yeah.
To make that happen.
Well, the thing is like you've got at least nods towards this direction. I mean, across the street, you've got Meta with Threads saying, "Yeah, we're intending for this to be on a federated platform eventually. We're making and maybe they're lying." Maybe they're just aping the moves that happened in the 2008 era, where you had Google, LinkedIn, and Facebook saying we're going to take activity streams to our platforms, which was, of course, the basis for the Fediverse. Never happened, but they were at least talking about it, and that's what they're doing now. Musk isn't even pretending like he's going to go that direction. He's trying to go back towards the direction that has failed for the last 15 years, which is to create a centralized platform based on bad first principles.
He wants to be Yahoo.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you were just saying that how difficult TikTok is now. As people split, will they go into small, diversified groups? Maybe there isn't one universal standard. I didn't say it was correct or was going to work. I just said that's why he's doing it.
Yeah.
And he tells you why he's doing it.
Yeah.
I think it's overwhelming.
That's the problem.
Like my head
all of it
hurts
is.
right now.
And it's not like ours isn't. We're not sitting there going, here's how it works. We're like, what do we do?
This is overwhelming. No, there's just too much social media. There's too much going on. It's too stimulating. I'm worried for my children, to be honest. Yes, we can take the positive out of it and be like, oh, they're going to be more advanced than we are, but
I think that's nonsense. That's not the
But I
way
feel
of
like
things.
we're literally losing their brain cells
They
at
are.
a very fast pace. So now, I take advantage in a little way just to kind of direct what the things.
Do you give them
that
the
they're
iPad when
learning.
you go to the restaurant?
No,
you just
what
need
I
5
do-
minutes to order?
No, I actually send them videos. I share videos with them to kind of change, because what are they going to do? They're going to open it, right? So that's going to start changing the things that they're watching. So I'm constantly, and I did that over time.
That is a deep cut.
wild.
I did that over
amazing.
time.
That is wild.
I did that over time. Now my daughter
You're
doesn't know I did that
incepting
to
your
her.
own children through TikTok. It's a good thing they're not on YouTube.
but
They'll never
I'm
see
sending motivational videos, basketball videos. For my daughter, I'm sending her like self-confidence videos, things that
That's
I
really
kind of
smart.
want
This-
direct her.
There was
That's
a
really
Reddit
smart,
thread about
actually.
this.
That's really smart.
Because what they're going to do, they're going to open it.
And it changes the
And
algorithm.
if they
see
don't
more
open
of
it, you know what I do? Hey, did you see the video I sent you yesterday? Yes, I did. And it's just, I do
You
it
need to
That's
constantly.
why they have a sock account for everything you send them.
You need to create 10 fake profiles of their friends and then send those so that you can overwhelm the
But
rest.
you know what
need
else
to build
I
a
did
bot
though?
network.
I also sat down with my
Verified.
children and taught them how to use social media to benefit them.
Right.
So, of course, I'm going to have that one child, my daughter, but she's going to do what she wants because just as her personality. But when I convinced my older child to utilize, and I taught him how to use social media for basketball, he went along with it. And so literally everything he watches is basketball, motivational videos, and he doesn't deal with the nonsense, if
Right.
that makes sense.
Right.
And he chose that because he's constantly seeing it. So his brain kind of rewired with him realizing.
You don't seem overwhelmed. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do when people are like, oh, Twitter's trash, Facebook's trash. Like, no, you pick and choose what comes into your brain.
It's all about perspective.
You have to make those
Exactly.
decisions, and they don't. This is actually that should be a channel.
But I mean, this is
Hey,
what
here's
I
a
teach,
list of
I'm
videos to
telling
send to
you.
your kids. Here's what you want
Yeah.
them to do.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's probably a business right
And so,
there.
and this was actually
Parents
an
would pay for that.
argument I had. Did you just give me a business idea?
If
You
you
gave
want
the
it,
whole internet the business idea.
Can you make sure? No, I'm just kidding.
it's a brilliant idea
But-
if you want to run it.
I mean, I created a curriculum to teach youth athletes how to utilize their social media to benefit them in marketing and visuals that they want to help
great.
advance their skills, their mentality. I'm all about, of course, Mamba mentality. I'm all about self-discipline. And I preach this all day. But guess what? They hit an age where they don't want to listen to me anymore. Okay, well, you listening to the internet.
Right.
So that I'm
No,
gonna help you listen
I
to the
love that.
internet.
How do we get you in front of coaches, and how do we?
I do. It's simple. I
Can you
went out
fix Frisco,
to,
McKinney, and Allen? Well, Frisco
right
and
now
Allen.
I'm in Louisville. I can't help you anywhere
we-
else.
Like I want to go to the school board and say, I need you to buy this.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is it's so overwhelming, but why not make it useful for
Right.
our children? I want my children to have what's around them and not deprive them, but kind of also teach them how to use it. It's business. It's just easy business.
It is all the
And
access of the
I'm
internet,
still
the education of the
convincing
world.
my daughter, if you like this topic, guess what? You love being in front of the camera. Make it work for you.
Do y'all think critical thinking skills transcend? You know, we've had technological innovation for all of human history, and people have been all right. They figure it out, kind of like what Mark was saying last week. I think. Don't you think just like parenting and teaching and like education, teaching base critical thinking skills transcend? Even if the internet's like a crazy innovation, it's still an innovation. We will adapt.
What a crazy pilot. We should try teaching critical thinking in schools.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the next 40 years. We
No, yeah,
haven't.
it's definitely a problem. I
We
was
haven't in
schools
40
and-
years. They changed it. You guys never grew up. You've never seen a school that taught you how to do that. Ever.
I mean, that was the whole gifted
They'll
and
test
talented
you for it,
program
though.
originally. Was
Will they
was,
test you, or they test you for the test? So
They
can pass
test
it
you
in?
like critical thinking questions. And
Oh,
you
I
remember
think that might
those?
be branding.
No, yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not. And yeah, I'm not saying it
Critical
exists in
thinking.
schools, but like some of us came out with it somehow. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was what the goal of the whole like gifted and talented program was originally, is to you know
Failed miserably.
further develop critical thinking skills. And
They
that
didn't
sort
do
of
that.
thing.
We're
They just-
definitely all former gifted kid
Yeah.
failures.
Elder
Yeah.
berries.
Yeah.
You are so
Gifted
bright
kid
and
burnout.
smart, and you shouldn't have to work hard like those people in those honors classes.
Right. Yeah.
It's the craziest thing.
I
hated
still,
it.
at the end of the day, I still feel like it comes down to the parents. Like, what direction do the parents want to take
Who they
their
slept
children?
with at the moment of conception. Yep, I agree with that entirely.
Oh, I could say a lot right now, but I won't.
Well, the thing that like I guess doesn't make me so overwhelmed with all this stuff, because the pace of change is pretty incredible, is the fact that like I've been doing, as you know, blogging for as a digital blog, digital journalism for quite
Since
some
you
time.
were a younger millennial, that's how long he's been doing it.
And like I have basically had to declare email bankruptcy every year just because it's it's a total shit show in there. It's just nothing.
What
but,
is email bankrupt?
That's just where you have too many emails.
Oh,
to
I literally have 8 email accounts that are all flooded.
So every December, I just select all, mark as read, and whatever I didn't read, and that's just what it is. But the issue is that you kind of, and this is because when you're a blogger, especially in the early days, PR people just hammer your inbox, and you just get nothing. Now everybody lives with this world. So but I've had like 15, 20 years to learn how to deal with this. And one of the directors that I work with on the Cube did this documentary with the inventor of the boogie board, and he used surfing metaphors for everything. And one of his phrases that he always defaulted to was don't fight the wave. The wave will always win. Like you can't fight the ocean. The ocean is a much bigger organism than you are. And that's what the internet is. The internet, everything on it, social media, it's a much bigger organism than you are. You can only surf, which going back to like a very 90s metaphor for the internet, but you can only surf on this wave. So learn how to read the ebbs and the flows and the currents and figure out how to, make it work for you. Get it where get you where you're going. Don't try to fight it. You can't censor the internet. You can't destroy things on the internet. Right. You can only go with the flow. Go with the flow of information.
I mean, and that's why, I just decided my kids could just make an account that I'm not going to follow, right? I'm just like, okay, well, let me not battle. Let me not fight this one. Let me try to direct them. We're just in an age of I can't protect them from everything, but I can teach them and educate them. And it even I had an argument with my brother about my children having social media accounts. And I was just like, well, one, I'm managing who I feel like is in most danger, which is my daughter and my youngest. The 15-year-old, I teach him, as an athlete, I teach him hey, if you get any inappropriate pictures, guess what? Your athletic career might be over. So I talk to him. Is my daughter at that phase? No, but I'm not going to try to not ride the wave because I don't think I would beat it.
Yeah.
And so
and there's a positive side to it too. So when we were talking about what we played with AI models, my whole pitch on it is I can't stand people using AI because they don't know what they're doing is the problem.
I'm learning.
No, it's good.
Nobody here, not you.
Basically, yeah.
But
I'm learning from him.
It's like watching people go to Google and for a while they're like, I know how to do something. I saw it on the first line of Google.
Yeah, I mean, who are you kidding? That 4,000 words was
no one
all from your brain, right?
No, it was. I don't use.
I'm joking. I know.
I don't use that. I actually call it human-authored content, trademark. But that's a big part. But I also had the advantage of growing up, and we had time to think, and we had time for unassociated play and all that. And so, what's weird to me is I've spent the last month playing with these models to make myself smarter and stuff, and to get better and see what they can do. Most people are just using it to write an email or code a little faster.
Learning.
I'm literally doing what you're doing with your kids, which is okay. If I want to pick up a topic, how do I quickly go in, use the model correctly, make sure I'm accurate with it, use it to do ideation? How do I check things if I don't have time? How do I go through 20,000 words of text quickly? Because that's just like the internet. That's the real value. It's not.
I actually really enjoy learning.
Yeah, we've been doing some stuff
for that. I'm enjoying it. And
I'm gonna get Sohail to pull up your purse pictures.
Oh yeah, can you do that?
But you and I this weekend, I'm sending the link right now. But actually, it's on Dina's Instagram. It's the latest. It's the
I think
post,
it's one
right?
of the you're gonna see a purse.
Yeah, it's gonna see a post.
And
you swipe right and see the other ones. But this weekend we talked about kind of our AI bake off, right? Because you've gone
AI battle.
Yeah,
we need to have a 1v1 here.
Well, he's evaluated. Was it Claude,
Bard,
and then ChatGPT.
3.5 yeah.
And then
it's like a different language.
And then we kind of compared our interaction styles by sharing our conversational threads with one another, and you noticed some interesting differences that you wanted to talk about.
I was a little scared that it turned sentient because I got better, more accurate answers, which because I think it liked me more.
I wrestle the truth.
This is how we treat Siri in the car. Siri.
If you give someone a prompt, sometimes you'll get two different answers. Now I'm not saying they're making sure they typed it out correctly or it's not part of a longer chain or something like that, but it lies to other people more than it lies to me. And so we started digging into why.
But it's the way he was teaching me it's kind of like building a relationship with it. And so they know who you are and how, like what you want as time goes by. I wasn't expecting,
if
it's
you
like
have
an
a paid
assistant.
account and you're telling it to do that.
Okay.
So Bard doesn't allow, the chain prompts for Bard doesn't necessarily
generic.
do that. Cloud is very much conversational, but depending on how it's built. So that's the problem, is each one that you use is going to be built differently. And so what was weird is that using Cloud, I said, stop saying thank you, or stop. Every time I argued with it, it would thank me and say, it's so great that you're allowing me to do this. I'm like, I know, it's emotional manipulation. You tell people, thank you for your insight. You're saying, shut up. I'm from the South. I know what it means.
It's like an X.
Yeah, it's like, okay. I don't
like
get a fight
X.
with you.
Bless your heart.
So I told it to stop doing that. And it
Where's
actually,
my purse?
what it says, well, here's the thing. It's built to do that. It's the ultimate mansplainer. So if you tell it to stop trying to manipulate you, it doesn't know how to search its database correctly. It throws it off. So you have to figure out how it was built, what works, how do I give it a conversation, how do I talk to it like a human being, not with the prompt. What do you think about this? Well, that's interesting. Well, I talked to the author. Why would you say this? And then it looks at you, and to look at you, it writes to you.
I don't know if I want to have something to argue with, though.
But it's most things are. It's like, what happens when it gives you incorrect information?
Yeah, I curse out Siri.
What happens if it gives
Siri.
you a bad baking? What if it's something as just simple as,
Yeah.
hey, tell me how to make a nice chicken parm?
Yeah.
And it gives you the wrong temperature,
frustrating.
and now you get sick. Like, it's important not to trust it because you prompted it.
But what are we teaching ourselves now?
Well, you're teaching yourself how to do good conversation. It's exactly what you were talking about. You actually teach yourself to think, so you can go through and say, where was I not clear? Where could I have improved my
Yeah.
sentence structure? What if I wanted to do this? Am I philosophically correct when I say
Yeah.
this? There's a lot it can walk you through that you don't know. I dropped that piece in. I said, pull all the Easter eggs. Pull all the social jokes I make in there, because I do a lot of that in the writing. It pulled like 15 of them.
Wow.
And listed as to why. Like, this is a Dan Harmon joke. This is from an early version of Scrubs.
Star Trek reference.
It finds an Easter egg reference in there. You're like, wow, that's actually...
Wow.
So you can watch and see what other people say and then actually form arguments against it, or improve the way you speak. If you want to learn to debate, or how to ask questions, how to interview better, how to be better on a date, you can actually go through and say, this is what I would say. What do you think?
It's really
like that.
It's really better at analysis than it is at creativity. Like,
Yeah, it's not a search engine. It's a chat. It's a large language model, but it works better as conversation than it does as just as a search.
I love using it to analyze your own writing.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you learn so much about yourself, and
Well, don't believe it, though.
yeah.
Because if you say you did it wrong, I meant to do something else, and it goes, oh, I never saw it from that. Thanks for sharing that.
So
Of
do you think
course.
this is dangerous for the younger generation?
No, I think the danger is that people think it's so AI is always a movie in your head. Oh, it's going to be like talking to C-3PO or the computer on Star Trek, or it's going to be that little creepy little AI thing from the Spielberg movie, or it's the Terminator. So we have this idea of it in our head instead of treating it what it really is, which is a tool. Once I learn how to use it,
Right.
it makes you smarter. It saves you time. It can help direct you in the right.
But
you have to be trained to do it.
But my question is, for the younger generation, when we're saying don't believe it, it's really hard to convince children not to believe things they're seeing on social media. So if it's, say they're having a conversation with this and they're trying to figure something out, do you think it would have a lot more influence on children than
And
adults?
that's the critical thinking.
I think it's the adults, because the adults literally think it's Google or Amazon, or they're just excited and they don't want to dig too much deeper. Kids are naturally curious.
Yeah.
And you can say, look, it gave
But
me
they
two
also
different
believe.
answers.
They believe.
But you can show them, this said it wrong, this said it right. Be wary, but here's how to get the right answers.
So supervise the situation.
Just like you're teaching
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
it is an amazing tool for learning. It's not a great tool for pretending that you're smart, which is literally what we use it for.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to check it out. I got a new project. Yay.
Check out Dina's purse real
Look
quick.
at
This is
those.
oh yeah, this is the
Well, Mark helped me create those. I
Are those
gave
AI
him. So this
versions
is
of,
my purse, right? That's my actual design, the plain one. And I said, hey, let me see what AI can do with all of these. Now, I did have a friend who he showed me a few other pieces before, but I really wanted. I was like, well, can I put my purse in there, and then it gives me whatever.
right.
So
That's great because you can pick one thing you like.
from
then
from
actually
whatever.
create it
It's very
versus just-
inspiring. It's literally it'll save a lot of time creating renders, rendering
Right.
rendering images,
Right.
and it can inspire you. I think I had a lot of fun with it. Honestly,
Now go through and start asking it. It's probably I don't know much
and
about
I feel
purse
like
design,
the more
but-
I work with it, the more. But it kind of made me feel a certain way, and I'm like, well, is the fashion industry going in a specific direction now where they're not gonna, like, what are we doing? It's not gonna be.
my understanding of fashion industry comes from two very bad movies, Zoolander and Zoolander 2. So
Zoolander.
That's not how
2.
we function. No.
Zoolander 2.
Oh goodness.
It was funny though.
But if you did that with furniture, so I know a lot
Oh,
about
yeah.
furniture because I used to work with luxury brands, and
Yeah.
you could take that and say, where did this come? And I'll start whipping off. This is a 16th century chair.
Yeah.
This little curve is actually something was known because of the Dutch artist, and so you could probably drop that in and say, why did you do that? Look back. What's the history of that? It could teach you
it can
about
teach
fashion
you a lot.
very, very quickly.
Exactly. So with this, I
didn't lie
wanted
to you.
something with like ancient Egypt. I was like, can we put ancient? Of course, it started giving out like pharaoh heads and stuff. We're like, wait a minute, no. But there's. I feel like it's a great move. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm sure I'm a little behind, but it's.
But this
it was
is the
exciting.
thing with AI, just like we're talking about. It's you can either use AI to improve your life or your workflow, whatever it is you're
Yeah.
doing, or you can just spend all your time learning about AI and all the new things
Yeah.
that came out. Because
Yeah.
I like anytime I see something that's good enough to help me with a project, and I start working on that
Yeah.
project. By the time I've brought my head up to look around, it's like, oh, the thing that I was building, and they just built a thing to replace it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There's that, and you got to be careful. I did. I dropped my logo in for the company and had come up with a bunch of new art form. I pulled it off a product hunt, and the guy did it, and one of them was a sand castle. I thought, well, that's pretty good because Jimi Hendrix, castles bred of sand. That's why you got to build a firm foundation. So I popped it up, and what it did was it did not understand the word marketing. And almost all the image had it in marketing, MERKETING. Now I want you to imagine that I told people I'm an AI expert. I could edit images. I can
And
throw
I'm
those
gonna
out.
mark you.
And I just missed it because you do in design, especially if you didn't design it. And that goes out and people look at it and you misspelled marketing.
Oh, but this is a
That's
thing
what
that
people are doing right now.
this is what AI struggles with is it can do languages and it can do images, but it can't do language and images together very well. Like Midjourney is notoriously bad at several things, like the number of fingers that go on a hand and getting words correct
6.
in the image. 8, 15. Oh,
Well, that's gross.
just Google AI hands. It gets really
No, thank
creepy
you.
really quick. But this actually ties into a news story this week. I just sent it to you, Sue. The next version of
What is going on here?
these are AI
Now he's
hands.
showing the crazy hands.
Yeah. Oh, just
What is
oof.
it? What are we looking at? Why?
This is how AI. So Midjourney has gotten really
dreams
a lot
tonight,
better
too.
in the last
Take too much
like
melatonin.
6 weeks, 8 weeks about doing hands. But was one of the markers of an AI generated image for a long time. Is that you just look at the hands and see if the number of fingers is wrong or wildly incorrect, and chances are.
What happens when the next sign of it being AI is that it's popular and everybody's seen it?
I mean,
Because the AI would push its own stuff.
right.
So the less likes you have, the more likely it is. Just like actually putting in typos into your writing
so how do we
proves it's not AI.
There you go.
But eventually you start learning to incite typos just to make people reread it.
Yeah.
Is there any
to
regulation?
insert typos. I said learning to incite typos.
Either that sounds like you're trying to coax the AI into making the typos.
I'm making sure that
Exactly,
I'm making sure no one can record me
Yeah.
because obviously I don't make sense. If it's,
You're
if
just
it's clear,
speaking
it's-
in typos.
Yes.
speaking in typos.
So this is where I was going with this. This actually came out on I want to say Tuesday or Wednesday. The story here. ChatGPT, OpenAI, is working on a version of DALL-E, the next generation of DALL-E, that apparently makes Midjourney look like a kindergarten art student because OpenAI has technology that understands language so much. Like, imagine, I don't know, have you done Midjourney?
No, you told me you were better at it, so I shouldn't learn it. I should just come to you.
It was in,
So like, just look at this weird Jesus picture right here. So this is the sort of thing that is very difficult to get
That's
Midjourney
John McCain, right?
Midjourney to do correctly.
I didn't know that was Jesus.
Because, like, if you say Jesus eating a Subway, you are almost as likely to get a picture of like a Subway that with long hair and a crown of thorns eating something as you are to get a picture of Jesus.
Well, that's a
eating Subway.
Romanian Jesus. Everybody knows that.
So like,
so
but this
disturbed
is
right
because Midjourney doesn't understand how to parse
Look
sentences
how big the
in
mouth
an
is.
intelligent
How does he
way.
open the mouth that much? It's like the alien mouth.
You know,
That's-
I'm seeing a lot of like on social media. I'm seeing a lot of like AI stuff. Like I was posting with the purses, and I'm also reading a lot of the comments of like people have too much time on their hand. But
Probably saved it by using AI.
yeah, that goes back to like we are spending a lot of time trying to figure it out.
Microphone, Tina.
I'm sorry.
You're good. So, Mark, are you saying they're like combining GPT with
Yeah, so
I mean,
combining
yeah.
LLMs?
yeah, and so this is a very limited beta. There's probably about four to 500 current users that have access, so extremely limited. But they are saying that they're using like the language parsing ability of GPT and OpenAI combined with DALL-E now to really create much more intensely accurate, from a ontological perspective, images.
So I think that's what you're trying to create something there. It has all these weird things, but it does do better with analysis.
Right.
So I was showing a friend of mine, he does hydrogen battery storage, and he wanted to learn more about it. So we started asking these questions of it, and it gave us the boring Wikipedia version. And so then I asked it to talk to me like a dude bro chatting to his buddies at a bar, and it nailed this analogy. It was basically hydrogen or balloons inside of a container, and it walked through storage, deployment, cost, in a way that you quickly understood. It was a great analogy because it does better with analysis versus the very boring, for the future, the deployment of the hydrogen storm. I mean, I was like, holy, this is actually, you wouldn't have known that this was actually written by an AI because it sounded like a dude bro to bar. And I literally wrote dude bro, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just nailed the analogy. So imagine when it starts getting good enough with pictures. If it can already do analogies, how long before it makes pictures and they're actually good as opposed to those nightmares?
Well, I mean, so that's not the only pic. There was some other pictures, but that's
Don't show us another.
like this, like that. The other pictures show the quality.
Oh, it's the Federal Reserve. Oh, sorry.
It shows the quality of the image. That one, like the head, the face.
Yeah, the detail's actually pretty impressive.
That's Midjourney level AI generation. DALL-E is currently not capable of doing that level of detail. Stable Diffusion, if you really, really train it in a specialized area, it can do that level of like detail and accuracy. Midjourney really is the only one that's capable of doing that. Now, like I said, when you create a Midjourney image, it's like crafting a 1990s search prompt. Like there's a lot of Boolean and weighting of values, and you've got to think you can't think in English when you give it stuff. The more
That's going to change fast, though, isn't it?
this is what we're talking about here.
This
Is we're
is already
using
solving
we're OpenAI is saying you can go back to thinking in English because we know how to parse a sentence and not mix up our verb tenses and what it is, the subject or the predicate, and all that other mess.
Yeah, the
So
speed of that.
I'm kind of thinking of, okay, I don't know, maybe this is another conversation, but I mean, now I was reading an article about how students are using AI to finish up essays and stuff like that.
A lot.
Okay.
A lot.
I mean, are we not thinking that's kind of dangerous for our future? Because
No.
they're not really learning. They're not researching anymore. They're getting
No.
it done for them. Maybe rewording a couple words. Are they comprehending the information and the research?
Everything's changed.
Yeah, and not in a good way. We could fix that. We could start teaching like you're talking about, but that requires paying attention, looking at the outcomes, more individualized instruction. I don't see how with 30 kids in a class with some silly little put out a 15-page paper, it doesn't end up like that.
My whole thing is those who are going to go into research are going to learn how to write in research and utilize AI as a tool for that. We are making kids write essays who are not going to utilize those skills. Or for me, working in the classroom, working with special ed kids, the ability for AI to enable and empower kids who are really, they say they're bad writers or they have trouble communicating their thoughts, outweighs any like, oh, they're cheating on writing an essay
Right.
about whatever, writing an essay about a Spielberg
Yeah.
movie analysis or something. Those who need it are gonna pursue it. I mean,
are you ever going to stop writing? You, Jim Durbin?
No, because I learned to write.
But
he made a good point though.
So you're saying that in a world where AI existed when you were young, you just never would have learned how to write?
I'm sure I would have figured out something.
There you go. That's what I'm
but
saying.
we're not talking about me. We're talking
But that's
about
what- but that's what
great
it is.
unwashed masses.
But, like,
you're not
Technical
special
difficulties.
though.
But Steve Long is never going to write an essay
No.
anyway.
No, and I have friends who are
Our friend
dyslexic,
that's an
and they,
HVAC guy.
But here's the
mean-
thing. So we talked about building something like this the other day, and I talked to a guy dyslexic. I said, if you could just speak what you were doing and it would put it into a format and then edit it for you and it was what you said, would that be better? And he said, nope, because he's built his whole life around building a different kind of business. He's very successful in business. He builds the big picture stuff, brings the people in, discusses it with them, and gets that done. So it's workarounds. But if it was just AI, I wonder how would that have been? He wouldn't have learned those workarounds. Remember, automation freezes humans at the level of complexity that they've grown to. You start letting kids use AI without walking them through the basics. This was the argument about cursive. It's the difference between typing and writing.
Do you agree with this, Mark? Is this research?
It's just science.
I mean, what
The hand
kind
and
of studies are you pointing to? Because I wonder what their metrics are.
As you're learning, your brain has to basically identify it. So you can write
Yeah,
a
no,
J,
I know
and you know what a
that.
J is, and you understand it. If you type a J, it's too fast. You don't understand what it is.
I guess in that case, yes, that's true. But so for AI or for utilizing new tools, it's new synapses that are being cultivated. It's new bridges and new ways of thinking. It doesn't have to. Yeah, I do hope. I'm optimistic, and I hope so. Especially,
I just dropped
when it
your
comes to
text into
education.
ChatGPT, and it said you made a lot of assertions that are unbacked by data. So I'm going to trust the AI. I'm going to
No,
drop.
but I mean, Sohail made a really good point. I feel like, honestly, because say, for example, my son needs to write an essay. I sit down and we create a essay, like a guide, a step by an outline. Oh my God, I forget how old I am. I'm elderberry. But it helps him break down his ideas. I guess when you incorporate something like this, it would actually give him, it makes it so much easier for him, if that makes sense. And he's a very intelligent young man. But it's hard for him to express himself. So I feel like I have such a love and hate relationship right now with AI. I'm so excited about it, but I'm also worried for my kids.
I think it's on us. I don't think it's the kids that are the issue. It's like making fun of young boys for not understanding math, and then they're doing all these calculations in their heads for baseball statistics. It wasn't a matter of them not having the ability.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
didn't care because it was dumb.
Yeah.
Hey, little boy, sit there, take Adderall, don't move.
So
You're
that's
right.
that's what
You're
I'm saying.
right. You're
When
right.
it comes to education, when it comes to rearing the generation that's going to grow up with AI, I'm not as doomer about it. Like that's
I think I
there
really
are
need to-
analogies
yeah.
to when we were growing up, when you were growing up, and when you were
Yeah.
growing. I think we have
Yeah.
4 generations. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
He just called us elderberries.
No, he just called me elderly.
Just
You are the
elderly.
youngest person in this building, Jim.
Oh man,
But
Community references.
right.
I do a lot of that.
I think it goes back to all on perspective. I think I really need to, a lot of us maybe just kind of see it in a specific way. It's funny. I just had a conversation with one of the directors. We work in LA, and he applied for this job position, and he's in production. There's a strike going on and all that stuff that's happening in Hollywood. And he applied for a position for a company that it's like an AI program that creates all the avatars.
Oh, yeah.
And like on the facial, but it's for film. And so as soon as and I was like, well, that's great for your resume. And he's like, no, because once people see AI on my resume, they can't think of anything past, like, how could you, how dare you?
Right.
And this is part of why we're striking. And you know what I mean?
Oh, that's interesting, Jim.
Yeah, it was, and he was just like, well, I can't really, I can't say it out loud because I have to sit and explain to people what it really, really is. And not everybody's understanding what AI is. So
Or you could just create a fake company and say you did something different.
You know who I blame
I
for
signed
this?
an NDA.
he just wants to get a job right now. He doesn't care.
You know who I blame for this is IBM. They're the ones that have been confusing the term AI with literally anything that's automation related for the last 15 to 20 years.
I mean, that's what I thought of.
Yeah, I mean, like, so they've been calling things that, like, just incremental feature improvements to software, database software, AI. And so then they wonder why they have problems selling it to enterprise clients when it doesn't leap out of the box and start, speaking like C3PO or
What
R2D2.
do you
So
think
it's-
AI is supposed to be? You want dancing robots?
That's exactly
But
that's why IBM has failed at selling
it's
AI.
used so loosely.
Yeah.
It's used so loosely now that people are not understanding what it is. I mean, I'm still trying to understand. But I have a great mentor, so I call him and ask the most random questions.
Oh, yeah? Who'd you put her
I'm
onto?
surprised he has patience for me. But I think I asked him about the AI credit recently. There's like AI used now for like social media boost where you can grow your Instagram followers using AI. So it's just thrown around, but no people are of course signing up and looking at it, and it might be a scam, but it is used loosely in my opinion.
Oh,
So-
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think AI is great. I just think humans are the problem. And I want us to
that
fix
sounds
that.
like-
I want us to fix
It
that.
sounds
We
like
are
guns,
responsible.
the guns conversation.
Yeah.
It's not the guns, it's the humans.
It's not the bad AI. It's a human with a good AI. That's what the pitch is. AI
I mean,
won't
it's
take
true,
your
though.
job. A good human with AI will take your job. I'm like, what do you even?
But just yeah.
No, I feel like we. I mean, part of it's just the pace of change.
Yeah, it's a shift. And
It's
people
scary.
are uncomfortable with change. So I mean,
Luckily, things aren't changing that much. We're just living in 2008 again.
I'm from Egypt, so I'm still in the ancient Egyptian realm of we
sorry, I
were
went to
a lot
public
more
school.
advanced.
You don't know where Egypt is?
I can't look at that on a map. Somewhere over there.
So it's the thing that Steve Martin sang the song about.
Oh, so it's in LA.
Oh my goodness.
Don't get that reference. Hey, so the question is, with all this, did it help you bake? What was the results? Come on.
I would-
That's our title.
It does a great job explaining why I like the recipes I do, because it goes through textures and speeds and stuff like that. But then it also warned me that if you're redoing day-old coffee, watch out for bacteria growth.
Oh wow.
And when I ask it about that, it goes, well, in all fairness, it's a very tiny thing. It's not a problem unless you like put it into a rainforest and leave it for 6 days. You're fine. But all three of them all said the same thing. So you just drop a little ice in the coffee. Like you pull it out of the drip pot, you put it in, you cover it so it doesn't get smells from the refrigerator. You just drop a little ice in and it's good. I was like, oh, well, it explains how to get rid of the bitterness.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I can't. I don't think I'm going to use it for any cooking or food. So I've already limited my children's
Remember,
intake on
analysis.
stuff.
So
not
here's a fun trick,
creation.
right? So
It's true. Sorry.
the thing that it's good at is one of the things that it's good at, because it has perfect recall, is cross-referencing data points. So like you can go on a million websites on the internet and like say, okay, I want a vegan diet or a keto diet, right? And it's going to know, okay, it's going to read somebody's blog about it, take out the story about the grandmother and just give you the data that you're looking for and say, okay, here is a 7-day meal plan for keto. And then you go, okay, now generate a list of things they need to go buy from the grocery store to do this 7-day meal plan. And you have just saved yourself like
A bunch of research.
hours of reading dumb blogs about people's family members that you don't want to read about anyway. And then also, collating that into like exactly how many pounds of bacon you're going to have to get, how many
And then
head
you
of
use
lettuce.
But is
Zapier
it-
to send it to your
if
phone
it's
and then add it to your
taking-
Instacart and it just arrives. And you never really know how to do anything.
That's
If
Because
it's
you didn't
taking
learn.
information, from other people's writing or recipe or whatever,
Yeah, it's-
so it might not be accurate. If it's pulling information from the internet, right?
yeah.
Is that what it's
Well, I
doing?
mean, it's based off of training data that's came from the internet. Yeah.
Training data.
Yeah.
So it's directed towards specific
I think
things.
it's the same training data because they all said the same thing about the coffee.
Said the same thing about the coffee.
The exact same facts.
there's so
about
much
the coffee,
information.
But they said it differently.
What I'm saying is there's just so much information out there that how do we know it's accurate?
Yeah, are you getting mine or are you getting Gordon Ramsay's? Because I know one of those is going to be really
Right.
good and the others is probably copied from
We're
someone
no-
who read Gordon Ramsay.
Right.
Gordon Ramsay sucks. I think I've turned on AI, y'all.
Okay.
Thinking about cooking. I love cooking and baking so much.
That's funny.
Yeah, no. The thing is, like, baking, like, all of it, baking
I
is
would have
definitely less
never-
creative than cooking, and you can literally find research and calculate everything. You don't need a large language model, but I guess if you want to do a specific diet or
Yeah.
something, it's cool.
I love Sohail.
Well, but
He's so encouraging.
If you are trying to do a certain diet, yeah, how are you going to? All right, are you really going to spend, like, if you're not familiar with the diet plan that you're working on, are you really going to spend 6 hours going through and, like, okay, finding these different
don't have
recipes
time.
that work, and then create a spreadsheet, and okay, well, this one has 1 slice of bacon, this one has a pound of bacon. I gotta
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh,
Growing
yeah.
up
I
with
could do that
the
in
with
30
the
seconds.
past 3 decades of yo-yo dieting y'all put on the world,
Y'all.
yeah.
I wasn't there. I'm young.
I'm a victim. I'm not a.
No, maybe that were put,
Progenitor.
actually it was put on you, I think.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
Don't eat
Oh
eggs.
my god.
Don't eat eggs now. Eat eggs. Eat eggs now. Don't
Who's
eat
this
eggs.
Atkin guy?
Eat the.
I was talking to a guy who said he's worried about his cholesterol. I said, "How many eggs do you eat?" He goes, I have to cut out eggs." I'm like, "How do you eat a week?" 4. I'm like, I don't think that's the problem. Or my wonderful ex-wife who used to only eat egg whites but would buy the expensive eggs, and I was like, I don't know why you're doing that.
Oh my God.
But there's like a whole thing of egg whites.
It comes
Just
out
get
of the same
container of the egg white.
Yeah.
She'd also crack it open and put it back in their freezer. And I'm like, that's more dangerous than the cholesterol.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
It's okay. She had Windex to clean it up.
You and
Wonderful
this
lady.
Windex story.
Wonderful. I'm terrible. I literally
sure
have
it was
PTSD.
Windex?
When I see people with raw chicken, it freaks me out because I'm thinking,
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Okay,
use
who won the
Clorox.
bake-off? What did y'all bake? I'm genuinely curious. Stop
Wait,
dodging.
you guys really acted?
oh no, it wasn't a real bake-off.
I was
It
gonna
was a
say.
bake-off between AI stuff.
Oh, come on.
No, it was a.
We need to
metaphor.
do this
Y'all
again.
clickbaited me.
Can we? Sohail,
a
can we do this
metaphorical-
battle again, like on camera?
Yes.
Oh,
I
with,
would so.
Oh, watching it? Yeah, that actually
referee
might
all
be
of it.
interesting if we plug those in and
That
Yeah,
would be
yeah,
so
yeah.
Or we
much
could just
fun.
show them.
That would be
Right.
so
like we
much
did the
fun.
other day.
Right.
But we need to pick a topic besides baking.
Well, so our topics were, I think baking was just one of the topics.
Hydrogen
so
storage, marketing, book summaries.
like software development. So
Ice.
this was actually what we were talking about was doing doing a bake off where you were picking a topic that you were completely unfamiliar with, and I was doing the same thing. So I do HR, you do coding or something,
Right.
And then like we figure out, which tools are able to help us bridge the knowledge gap in a more accurate and productive way.
Can I host this game show?
Actually, be great because you could sit there and like actually use Google and Wikipedia to say, well, that was made up. This doesn't seem
Oh my god, I
accurate.
really want to do this. This is very interesting.
It actually sounds.
Yeah.
And we
We
can
could
also
also
do
do
like an
one-
episode with kids.
Oh, we could do one
That
with
would
you,
be
Dina,
great.
with producing.
Having the kids go through it. Yeah.
I like it. I like
One
it.
with producing.
Yeah, like producing a video or a documentary or
Right.
something.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
well,
so cool.
speaking of AI and the one crypto story
Did your calendar just
that
tell you?
came this week. No, it's just the last thing on my
Wait,
list.
how do you have my video on your phone right now?
This is our live feed.
Oh,
Yeah. So the Sam Altman has launched WorldCoin this week.
okay.
So is anybody familiar with that? Anything? Sam
Not
Altman,
at
of course,
all.
the CEO of OpenAI, launches a shitcoin, for a lack of a better word. This is the coin that supposedly verifies your identity by staring into an orb, scanning your retina, and then giving you money for the rest of your life.
I miss Mark Shutt.
Every time we bring up Sam, he's got something to say. Mark's watching right now, so
Wait, can you elaborate on exactly what it is?
So you have a soul, and what to do is take that soul.
yeah, just
I'm so scared, guys. I feel like they're taking a lot more than our soul.
it's so essentially this is kind of what we were trying to talk about with Veritoken, but not exactly. So Veritoken was a startup that we consulted for in the earlier days of crypto, 2017 to 19 era. It harkens back to this identity thing that Elon Musk is trying to do with X. He thinks that everyone should have an addressable driver's license and credit card number to be considered a unique individual, whereas the rest of the world works on something more fluid, where if you are a unique human, measurable in any sense of the word, that you are a body that walks this earth, but you were born in a village that doesn't issue IDs by the Western world standards, you are not considered a unique human. So crypto people and blockchain people and all kinds of folks involved in just trying to bring 1/5 of the human population who lives in this undocumented world into the world economy have been trying to crack this nut. How do you do it? Sam Altman's belief is retinal scans are unique enough that you can create a uniquely addressable person that way. And then he has some sort of weird kind of Ponzi scheme that involves giving you tokens on his chain so that you'll have at least $20 a month or something. I don't know. That part gets really murky for me. But his goal is to create UBI because that everyone can have something to pay for life with, because his other startup, OpenAI, is going to take everybody's job.
Oh, so he's trying to make up for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what happened to fingerprints?
Fingerprints are not as universally useful for that as you might imagine. You can lose them. A scar can make them unrecognizable. There's an estimated 5 to 10% of the population where their fingerprints are unreadable by most modern fingerprint scanners because there's not the right mixture of oil in their hands. If
Your eyeball could also fall out, though.
your eyeball could fall out, but
Or
as
are
long
we
as it did not fall out
Corinthian?
before it got scanned.
What if you drink a lot of red wine, like 2 bottles of Cabernet, and you're allergic to it?
You're allergic to it. What in your eye? What happens? Does that do something to
And
your eye?
had some chocolate. I'm pretty sure that I could change my
What
eyeball
about
scan.
not astigmatism?
So you're saying get your eyeball scanned, get the UBI, go get really
And have a pretty
blasted
good
on
eye.
So how do we know they're not taking more information?
Oh, this is the
than-
thing. This is absolutely
Yeah.
the thing. So
And what
the-
happens
the-
when now that they know who you are, you're never allowed to do anything?
What
You're
if they're
owned and controlled.
connecting us to an outside world we don't know about yet? Sorry.
That
I'm
sounds
sorry.
tight.
I'm sorry. There's ET right here.
I heard that WorldCoin thing, and I was filled with an Archer-like rampage. That's
I
all
want to
could
hear what
think of.
Mark's about to say.
Well, the headline on Blockworks was "WorldCoin is not as bad as you think. It's worse. It's worse." So this is why I
my
avoided.
mind is racing.
I
now.
avoided clicking on the article all morning because it just said it's not as bad as you think. I'm like, some sort of apology for Sam Altman. And then I finally saw the full headline. It's worse. It's worse than you think. And that's the thing is they're not providing any proof whatsoever that they're deleting the database of eyeballs, right? So when you prove someone has a unique identity, is you can hash the data and remove the original data, so that you can still prove that it's unique by looking at the hash without having a database of private data sitting around that some hacker can steal and ruin your life with.
See, at least
But
when Joe Rogan does
they're-
this, he shows himself going, and then tells you the idea,
Okay,
right?
Are you holding?
He's not holding.
Okay, then.
I didn't see him
Not
holding.
us. I'm saying Altman shouldn't be able to pitch this unless there's a picture of him going, okay, here's an idea.
Man,
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is a
Well,
lot more
terrifying.
disturbing than social media
Yeah.
conversations.
So yeah, but the thing
Oh my
is,
God.
everybody in crypto is roundly rejecting this with a veracity only matched by their hatred of CBDCs. So I don't think WorldCoin is going to take off anytime soon. But it is.
It's a terrible name too.
It's
How
by
about
far the
awesome coin.
Yeah.
WorldCoin.
I mean,
sounds
WorldCoin
like
just
world,
sounds, yeah.
like they're taking
World
over.
domination.
Yeah,
It's like Cobra Commander. If I could do the
Exactly.
voice, I would. Come and get Jim Schrabb in here.
Well,
He's the voice of the Dean on Community.
I'm nervous.
Yeah. I just don't see, there's so many better standards for unique identity and so many other ways that you can think about funding public goods. I just
Ooh,
don't.
we take the world
World
coin
starvation.
and we take the subway picture with the
Jesus.
Dracula Jesus. We put those together, and then I won't sleep at all tonight.
Or the 6-finger
Is there a
hand.
picture
Oh my gosh.
Is there a picture of the orb? I saw a picture of the orb
Of
earlier.
the orb. They're calling it the orb.
Yeah, it's not just because it's an
We
orb.
better live in a simulation if there's
It
an orb.
literally is an orb. It's a silver
I feel like
orb
there's
with
a
an
lot
eye
going
scanner
on
in
with
it.
this. I don't think it's just, hey, let's.
I think that's just a
They're
picture
stealing
of an orb.
my identity.
So
what they're doing.
WorldCoin.
Like I'm worth anything with the coin.
There it is.
Yeah, that's the orb. This is what scans your eyeball.
See, this is why I have a sledgehammer. We could redo that Apple Mac thing.
We tried out Sam Altman's eye scanning WorldCoin orbs, and it all felt too low
That
key
is
to be.
literally the stuff of nightmares. They create that in sci-fi.
This is you guys. We
Get a little
are
humming in the
literally
background.
still.
Yeah.
I do believe us human. I mean, we're behind. We're behind. There's a lot going on that we don't know about. There's just a lot.
Sam Altman is not some moneyed Illuminati elite. He's just some tech bro from Silicon Valley that thinks this is a silly good
just
idea
watched
because
Secret
he
Invasion.
read it in a sci-fi novel. He did. There's a whole class of people that I know in the world of crypto and Silicon Valley. You know them too. That they read 1984 and they think, oh, that's a cool story. Maybe I'll take something out of
To
that.
be fair, I produced an entire movie on androids, and it was great.
Right, but it was a movie, right? You
It's a sci-fi.
You didn't finish the movie and go, wouldn't it be great if this was real?
Let's
I
try this
actually
in
did
Kansas
feel
and
that
see
way.
what happens. Yeah.
But I think they're already experimenting with
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
No facial scans at TSA.
yeah.
Where's that? Logan? I forget where. They have them here in the U.S. Facial scans at
Oh,
TSA
yeah,
to
yeah,
make
yeah.
sure
They
that
have
you're
like chips now they can put under your skin in China or something.
They do it here.
They-
Do it here,
in
yeah.
here.
Yeah, the
That's
RFID chips.
Neuralink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for your brain.
Oh my God.
That's not just your not under the skin. That's under the cranium.
And human trials are a go, right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Didn't go too well with the animals, but let's move on. Progress must continue.
I mean, they're just monkeys. We're different. We're
guys-
built different.
We're just built different. I think that's the problem. Anyway, do we want to talk? I mean, we're already kind of down a
scared.
dystopian rabbit hole. Do we want to talk about the crypto influencer story?
Yes.
Yeah, might as well enter on some death and dismemberment.
Literally,
I can't stand it.
there was a crypto influencer
Oh, geez.
from
yeah.
Barcelona.
What?
I mean, I didn't even want to talk about this story,
Barcelona.
but like
Okay, wait,
I've been sent
okay.
this story 5 times today.
I'm
so.
curious. Go ahead.
A Barcelona-based crypto influencer was in Argentina, went missing July 12th, was found yesterday, chopped up in a red suitcase.
Like a Samsonite?
Yeah.
How?
You can't mute yourself when you
How
laugh at the
do
dark
you
jokes.
find-
I can hear you through the door.
How do you? I don't know how you extract the humor out of this. This is scary.
Well, branding.
I'm done.
So
I The-
Thank you. So. Okay, so is there more to the story? Like,
there
Would
really
it be
isn't.
worse
That's
if
the
it were
whole
a duffel
story.
bag?
it?
They don't even. They're not releasing details
still
yet.
concerned about the bag.
They're still doing but they've arrested one suspect apparently. To me, it seems like I have to
he
imagine.
sounds like he owed somebody money.
But he was a multimillionaire, right? So Andy was in crypto and he was an influencer. So there's one of two narratives that I think
He's
is
getting
probably going to go
robbed.
out. Well, one is he was found out to have been rich and he was in an area where he was susceptible to, where they do
Give me your
kidnappings
keys or
anyway.
give
Of
me-
course,
right,
of
right.
course.
And so, he got
Or like that dude in San Francisco that everybody's like, San Francisco's so dirty and horrible. And then it turns out he was sleeping with the guy who killed his sister.
yeah.
And they tried to blame it on he was in a bad neighborhood. That's why he left. And the reality was it was pretty typical
Right.
anger.
Black Mirror
Yeah.
theme. Okay.
The other two possibilities are, and these are increasingly more conspiracy theory based, but realistic. One is a lot of crypto influencers are being found out to have been scammers and ruggers, right?
Okay.
Right.
Maybe he ran into somebody who was harmed by one of his scams because it looked like it was a professional hit, is what the police are saying. So maybe
Professionals now using a suitcase.
this is what the police are saying, right?
Maybe
Police-
it was a briefcase. That's more.
Was he
So was
dismembered
it
or
a
just folded
professional?
over? Well, because that matters because there's a time basis.
He
It's
was
a lot. It
dismembered.
so that takes more time and quietness and
But
some
it
prepping.
also the method of dismemberment and what tools were used.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I watch a lot of.
I just
horror
saw some of
movies.
those. I forget.
But
There's some
making-
horrible movie on Amazon Prime about that where they get mad at the girl, she dies, and they spend the whole time talking about how to cut. It's the whole movie. It's Amazon Prime, so it's a terrible movie.
Right.
Like that's the whole movie
No,
is
but-
dismembering this.
Yeah, but if when we say professional hit, Like, is this like? I mean, obviously, it's.
You'd think they'd be better at disposal.
Where was he found?
It was-
in the suitcase, like where? Like behind a
in a-
trash
in a
can?
river.
In a river.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds like a.
They found him in a suitcase
mafia
in the
type
river.
thing.
Yeah,
There's no mafia.
So this is the other thing I was thinking. Maybe because crypto folks do like to, or crypto is tied to drug trade, at least on the Silk Road. Maybe he got involved with or was threatening.
Yeah, but
They were trying to send a message.
here's the problem: if you're going to quote professionals make too much money, they don't send messages. That's the movie. They want everything to disappear, and they don't do it in Western countries. It's
mean-
about disposing of the body, not sending a message.
No, well, this is actually
I don't know.
untrue in
I
certain
think they would
cartels.
send a message.
But the cartels do it where they are. They don't do randomly in other places. They do it there.
This
for
might not be
fear-based.
randomly. This guy could have been followed and
That's
targeted.
this is what I'm saying. He could have been doing business with cartels in Argentina or professional drug trade stuff in
He was found
Argentina.
in Barcelona.
No. He's from Barcelona.
Oh, he's from Barcelona.
He was on vacation in Argentina and went missing on vacation. So it could have been on vacation. He's there to do business, but he's on vacation or whatever, and he goes missing. They find him in the suitcase.
This could just be what the millennials and Gen Z are like after they watched enough movies.
It's true.
I mean, maybe
It's
they're
AI.
This
not
actually
professionals.
makes a really
We're gonna
good
blame
movie.
Sam
though.
Altman for this.
They're using social media to learn how to badly dispose of bodies. That could be it.
That could be
This
it.
makes a really good movie.
So it's more of
story,
a
documentary.
Bezos problem then. Bezos
So we're on
publishing
it.
that movie.
It was so bad.
Which billionaire can
So
we nail
bad.
for this?
This is. Oh, jeez.
I know.
It's a lot.
Anyway, so this
Is there
is the
anything
story that I've
light we
been
can
sent.
leave on?
Go back to the orbs.
But no, go back to the purses.
Yeah, there we
Purses
go.
were light.
They were light.
Yeah.
So the kids were light.
I'm trying to keep things light. This
Yeah,
is about
yeah,
murder
it's
and
a- well.
money and theft and identity theft and our whole souls being taken to another planet. I feel this
that was
round
all
table.
in your head. You were thinking that, but you didn't say that out. Because I was
No.
thinking the same
I'm
thing. I was
scared.
thinking the same thing, but he didn't actually say that. It was
Right.
just
Right. No,
There's a lot of topics we covered today. That was
yeah, we
interesting.
covered the gamut. We spent a lot of time on social media, just like our fellow bloggers on the internet too. So that was good. A little bit of change of pace for this show. So anything
bloggers-
else?
Bloggers never die.
Do you have a lightweight story before we go out? You got something on top of your head? Because this is all that was on my list.
I just have dark jokes.
I'm playing in a celebrity basketball
There
game
you go.
tomorrow.
Well, there you go.
Please join us. We are raising awareness on lupus. It is for a wonderful charity organized by Bo Talley and his beautiful wife, Miss Shelley Talley. It's called ballingforlupusloves.com. You can purchase your tickets online and come see me make a fool of myself, or maybe I'll have a good 20 points. But I'm
Triple-double.
going to win.
Triple-double.
I'm going to win. Triple.
Listen to Ice Cube before you go. The summertime song.
Yeah.
So I'm going to invite a few people. Shaq, where you at? I want you
Known
to.
He's our
watcher
listener.
of Merge Roundtable.
Shaq, I want you
That would
there.
be
Probably DJing
amazing.
in Ibiza
That would
or
be
something.
amazing.
No, let me be quiet before he actually shows up and I'm over here trash talking. And then
Somebody
you're
sends
like,
him on
"Where is
Twitter. Right?
she?"
Our one follower went on Twitter.
An added Shaq.
Can Shaq come to this basketball? And he's going to watch the show and he's going to want to know about the soul stuff and the purses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But tomorrow on the 29th, okay, wait a minute. I obviously can't make a very good ad right now. Saturday, July 29th, Grand Prairie Epic Gym. We are having a celebrity charity basketball event for lupus. So come join us. Hopefully I don't get hurt. There's going to be a lot of WNBA players there.
There we
so I'm
go.
excited.
Is it on behalf of lupus?
It is on behalf of lupus. Yeah. I don't know what that meant.
On behalf.
Save hat.
All right. I appreciate everybody joining us today. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll see you next week on Merge Roundtable. Hey, thanks for watching The Merge. We've got a ton more stuff for you to watch on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere. Check us out.